The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
For all of those who thought that the Canucks should have kept J.T. Miller over Elias Pettersson, y'all are about to look dumb real quick.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Coming in sick, coming in hot. It's Trevor Beggs, it's Kyle Bowden, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Thanks for joining us. One love to FanDuel, the sponsor of today's show. Go download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You know, I lost my voice, so I couldn't join Kyle on the post-game show last night, but it's come back this morning. And you know why? Because Pettersson has come back to life for your Vancouver Canucks right ahead of the biggest rematch of the century, man. Let's hype it up. Unbelievable. J.T. Miller, Elias Pettersson. Yeah. They faced off each other once before already, but this one feels different. A new season, fresh hopes for both teams, fresh worries for both teams, and they both come into Rogers Arena tomorrow night looking for a victory. And Kyle, you know, you can twist my nipples or kick me in the nuts for saying I'm exaggerating this, but this feels big for Vancouver. This feels big because it was one of the biggest trades in franchise history. It was the decision to trade 100-point player in favor of another 100-point player. And now both guys are going to be relied upon in critical situations. The Canucks kind of floundering a bit at 5-5. The Rangers absolutely needing a boost after having a terrible start to their season. Kyle, I mean, let's phrase it this way. I'm kind of curious what you think. Who saves their team first? Is it Elias Pettersson and the undermanned Vancouver Canucks? And he's had to step up recently with not a lot of offense and no Quinn Hughes. Or is it J.T. Miller, who, again, is saying all these things, now captain the New York Rangers, giving his motivational speeches out, but the Rangers have been a terrible start.
It's still so early, man. Again, just based on how Pettersson's looking right now, I think it's safe to say that he's back. Now, I haven't watched a ton of Rangers hockey, right? I don't think JT Miller's been, quote unquote, that bad. I mean, again, you're talking to Trevor and Kyle here. Before the weekend, we were saying Elias Pettersson was somewhat back, even though he wasn't putting up major points and whatnot, right? You could say the same thing about JT Miller. Like, he could have a 2-game stretch where he has 4 points and then is he back? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fine line here. It's still early. That being said, let's just face it, though. Elias Pettersson, when he's at his best, I don't know. I know it's not the playoffs, but I feel like he's twice the player JT Miller is. No, for real. For real. I mean, we saw for only one season as a Vancouver Canuck where JT Miller was willing to, play on the defensive side of things. Elias Pettersson, when he's on top of his game and he's dominant two ways, he becomes one of the most dynamic players in hockey. For real. And right now, he's doing his thing, blocking his shots and whatnot. And I'm not going to brag about his face-offs because they're not that great, even though he was better last night. But all in all, defensively, he's feeling cerebral. He's feeling top notch. And yesterday he skated faster than he's ever skated in his life. I'm pretty sure if Elias Pettersson skated like that 3 times last season, Rick Tocchet would have stayed here. For real. So
maybe EP was trying to get Rick Tocchet fired. There's a conspiracy theory for you.
There you go. So all in all, to answer your question, Trevor, even though I thought I would have a hard time to do it, man, oh man, I'm an Elias Pettersson believer right now. And this is coming from me, the biggest Justin Timberlake, JT Miller fan of all time. But man, oh man, like Elias, when he's at his best, like he's just everywhere, Trevor. And again, JT only for 1 year as a Vancouver Canuck was willing to back check. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks volumes.
Yeah, Kyle, if you want to pigeonhole us into certain brackets, you were definitely team JT, man. The Justin Timberlake, JT Miller tattoo in your ass crack. I've been team Petey for a long time. We were both obviously turning on him or criticizing him because everyone knows he was not playing well for a long time. But yeah, coming into this season, again, a bit of a slower start for Pettersson, but he's come on of late. I think it's been 7 good games for him. And the offense has started to come over the past couple of games. You know, the old one-timer against the Edmonton Oilers, the 3 points against the Montreal Canadiens. This guy, along with Connor Garland, looking like they can absolutely drive play on a top line for the Vancouver Canucks. And again, it's a small sample size, so I'm trying to contain some excitement, but this is the best Elias Pettersson looked in a long time. And this is early in the season, a season where the Canucks have gone 5-5. The underlying numbers have not been pretty. But the thing that matters most, I've said it before, Kyle, I'll say it again, every day is no. The thing that matters the most in the NHL is star power. And between Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, and Thatcher Demko looking like an absolute Vezina candidate early on, the Canucks have those. It matters if they can get the depth and the structure around them to perform. And
I don't. You know what matters more than the star power? It's winning games. Like, again, like when we're having this debate today.
How do you win games? You can't win games consistently without star power in your lineup.
No, but there's different ways.
Otherwise, you're the Seattle Kraken.
No, but there's different star players. There's a lot of star players, but again, when your best player, when Elias Pettersson is skating as well he was skating yesterday and finishing his checks against Nick Suzuki the night before, that riles up the whole team. When Elias Pettersson, the highest paid player on the team, is blocking all the shots, that riles up the whole team. You bring the boys into the fight, aka you make everyone around you better. And that helps you win games. I don't care if Elias Pettersson picks up more points than J.T. Miller this season. If we miss the playoffs and the Rangers don't, the Rangers won the trade. That's the way I feel about it. Like, who makes their team better? Individually speaking, again, yeah, you could do so. But again, there's something in the way that Pettersson plays over Miller. And it's crazy because Miller, that one season, like, he's doing everything defensively. And he's always been that SOB, finishing checks, being a fighter. The things that, made me love JT Miller. Like, that's a hockey guy. That's a Don Cherry guy. It's a Canadian guy. That's an American. Like, I love that dude. I was saying it for years. Like, this guy's going to be the face of hockey. Like, he just has the snarl about him and the swagger. And ultimately, he's just not the two-way guy to be taken seriously. And when JT Miller turns over the puck all the time or doesn't back check, like, what does that do to the rest of the team? It shows your young players and your depth players that you don't got to do that to get ice time. Whereas Elias Pettersson, even when he struggles offensively, at least he's not turning over the puck that leads to like egregious mistakes. It's funny because like even if you go back to St. Louis, like that was like one of the death blows for Pettersson. He did make a turnover that did lead to a St. Louis goals, but it was way more minimal than again Miller's quantity of mistakes and the quality of mistakes. And again, it's kind of hard to build momentum around a star player like that. But again, with Pettersson, it's just different, man. And I know it's early and I know it's not a large sample size, but I am so convinced that the Vancouver Canucks are playing way better, like in their last 120 minutes of hockey outside of the dumbass mistakes they made against Montreal and whatnot, because Elias Pettersson is working his ass off. Bro, Trevor, I'm a sucker for the highest paid player on the team being the hardest worker. And right now, Elias Pettersson is working the hardest. Well, I guess him, Garland, and Sherwood all together. But the cause and effect, it's kind of been seen. And again, small sample size, but without Quinn Hughes, bro, how did they get that job done? Everyone's in the fight because it was blatant early that Elias Pettersson is back and he's skating his ass off, and we got a chance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you referenced the turnover, but there were a lot of nights last season where JT Miller didn't look like he gave a shit about this team. The lazy back checks. It was almost like a nightly or a bi-nightly basis for the Vancouver Canucks. With Elias Pettersson, the problem has been his confidence offensively. It's not that he doesn't give a shit, right? He's out there blocking shots in key moments. He's out there hitting guys, which he's continued to do this season. But now the offense finally seems like it's coming. The burst finally seems like it's coming. And Kyle, there was a second there, right? We've got to do this every day, so it is easy to overreact. But there was a second there where 3 games into the season, even 4 or 5 games, we're like, I'm thinking, like, did we get fooled in training camp? Like, this team pumping Elias Pettersson's tires. The fact that he did look like he was, closer to his old form in training camp. I know it's just training camp, I know it's just preseason, but he looked like he was closer to that player. And then he starts the season and he has the same confidence issues and he's turning the puck over and there's these egregious errors and he's scoring on his own net. And you're thinking like, oh my God, like, is this our new reality? And I think a lot of Canuck fans have felt that for some time. And And my belief all along has been this guy's way too talented not to bounce back. And look, I'm still not convinced he's a 100-point player. Like, I'm not just coming out here saying he's going to get 40 goals and 65 assists this season, but he looks like a legit number one center who can dominate at both ends of the ice. And that's what we thought this guy would be. And Kyle, as we get to the other side, I do want to dive more into the Canucks versus the Rangers, because this is something I'm going to be following pretty closely. And it's been a very interesting season for both these guys. I'm kind of curious on your take about who is able to save their team first, because both these teams are in a bit of a tough spot early on.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. And again, I think recency bias has a lot to do with like a lot of Canucks fans being like, oh, wow, we made the right choice. 100% we made the right choice. The Rangers are pucked. Guys, slow down, all right? The biggest reason why the Canucks are 5-5 is because they got Thatcher Demko. Like, just go to sleep with that.
100%.
No, for real. Like, for real. Like, Demko's making Pettersson look good and have us be a little bit more calmer here at 5-5. And the Rangers, I mean, they played the same amount of games and they've only won 3, but they only have 2 less points than us. So just slow down. This is like, if this is a battle or a war or debate that is fascinating and that you want to be a part of and see maybe win, like, there's 72 more games left, for real. And I'm as confident in Elias Pettersson bouncing back and continuing the streak as I am in J.T. Miller getting his ish together and, at least, providing a mass amount of offense for the Rangers, because he's just done it more consistently than Pettersson over the last couple of years, right? So it's going to eventually even out on that side of the rink, but I'm actually convinced that there's no world where when both players are at their best, and this is crazy for me to say, but again, I'm smoking that alien pack. When they're both at their best, Elias Pettersson is just a way better player because he's just way, way, way better defensively and just way more consistent. Like, Miller needs the fight in him or like the fire to play defense, whereas Elias Pettersson just understands, like, that's just hockey. Like, I'm going to back check. I'm going to block. I'm going to be positionally right. I'm going to do my thing. And that just makes him a way better player. And it took months for me to say this, but we made the right decision, Trevor.
Let's go, man. The hype train running out of control. Let us know in the comments. Are Kyle and I getting maybe a little too hyped on PD after a better last few games? Because I see some people disagreeing with us. We'll get to it on the other side. Also, let us know who is going to save their team first, if anybody. Will be Elias Pettersson with the Canucks or JT Miller with the New York Rangers. That's coming up on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right. Before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel, baby. You know that if you're betting on sports, whether it's NBA, that's back in action. The NHL, of course, in full swing. So is the NFL, and the World Series is in action as well. Whatever you're betting on, go check out FanDuel. Even if you miss the start of the game and want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score to the third period comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. My daughter's favorite, for a shot at a bigger payout. Keep this every game exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Now, for tomorrow night, the Vancouver Canucks and New York Rangers, despite the fact that the Rangers are 3-5-2 to start the season, and we'll get to more of it on the other side, the Rangers are favored in this game against the Vancouver Canucks. -113, slight favorites to the Canucks, who are -106. So pretty close to a pick 'em, but the Rangers getting the slight edge on the road as well. So if you're liking the Canucks to come out on top tomorrow night, make sure you go place a bet on FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel. They are the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Oh, we're back here on Locked On Canucks. Oh, Kyle's back. I don't know. He might be muted though, man. We're dealing with the bugs, man. The Montreal screw job from Saturday night. It kind of screwed us over. But we're still here on Locked On Canucks. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, talking about Elias Pettersson, talking about JT Miller, talking about the game tomorrow night. And Kyle, man, I'm a fan first, so I didn't go last night. Slightly under the weather. Didn't have much of a voice last night. But you always ask me, fan first or reporter first? And I'm fan first, baby, because little case of the sniffles, the voice was kind of shaky yesterday. There's no way I'm getting my boy sick, man. Come on. It's go Canucks, go always.
Could you imagine, again, the Canucks, all of them in the hospital, 7 players injured. Trevor Beggs is like, oh, I just got my dream job. Because I'm that type of guy, work every day, no matter what. Like, yeah, I'm living the dream. If it's a little cold, I got to go to work. Trevor Beggs is the same way. He really is. But now, since his dream job involves his favorite hockey team, he actually called in sick so he wouldn't risk getting any other Canucks players sick. Because it would happen, knowing your luck this year. If you went into that room, Elias Pettersson would be coming down with COVID. Okay. Well, no, the new COVID. You would have started a new thing. You would have been the bat or whatever, that started it all. Like, that would have been dark. People would have egged your house moving forward. Okay. So I just want to give you a round of applause for thinking about the boys before, yourself. And I hope you get better. And I really do appreciate you. And before we get to, more talk about this Rangers thing, let's get to some comments because they're going places. Mother Knucker saying Kyle changes opinions like I change my underwear.
So not very often.
And
come on, Mother Knucker doesn't wear underwear, man. There's no way this guy wears underwear.
That's what I was about to say. If you're in the Discord, join the Discord. Actually, is that good advertising for the Discord?
Yeah, of course. It's the best Canuck fans in the world, talking about everything from our team to how much we wear underwear.
Okay, yep. All right. Okay. Look at Mother Knucker right here saying, let's see some consistency before the hype train runs off the tracks again. Mother Knuckers, I'm pretty sure he's JT Miller's cousin, second cousin, third cousin. I think I was JT Miller's first cousin last year. All in all, though, again, I know the hype train's crazy, and we're already Team Pettersson over Team Miller. Well, I'm hopping on that wagon now, but I just feel like it hasn't been a couple games. I mean, outside the Nashville game, and again, the Vancouver Canucks lost 5-1 to Pittsburgh before that. I just thought Elias was one of their best forwards in that game. Like, he's taking the shots. You could see the momentum and like him starting to build, right? And if he doesn't have that Pittsburgh performance, I wonder if we get like what we saw on the weekend. All in all, though, it just hasn't been the weekend. Like, he could have had 5 points against Chicago. What was it, like 10 days ago, 9 days ago, right? He's been warming up, and now things are happening. And let's be real. I mean, we've been looking for combos since JT Miller and Elias Pettersson and Brock Besser were dynamic, the Lotto 649 line, and him and Connor Garland, Elias Pettersson, that is, have been ripping it up, and they've been ripping it up ever since they got brought together. I mean, even in that Dallas game where I think Elias Pettersson might have picked up only 1 point, if I'm correct. In that game, he should have had a couple more points, So, Mother Knucker, I know. Trust me, I'm there, and I'm more of a box score guy as opposed to just seeing the fancy stats being on his side. But Pettersson is like, he's back, and the fact that we saw him skate like that at the end of a back-to-back after all that travel the week before, doesn't that show to you that he's just healthy? You know what I'm saying? Like yesterday was huge, man. I think Thomas Strand said it. I think he skated faster in yesterday's game based on his burst more often than he did at any point over the last, now I'm paraphrasing like crazy, but over the last 75 years of his life. No, for real. Like, Pettersson looked back yesterday.
Yeah, he did, man. I feel like he's looked back for, again, a good chunk of these last 7 games. I know it's been more evident with the speed against Edmonton, the 3 points against Montreal, but it's felt like he's looked back. And I was giving Connor Garland kind of more credit for it, I think, early on, because those two have shown some chemistry, right? And it helps when you have a guy like Connor Garland on your line who is creative, who is a legit top 6 winger, who can get open, who can do a ton of things on the ice. Kyle, I know you were hitting up the Discord talking about Connor Garland. I saw that spoiler when I was behind in the game, and I was like, oh, did Garland score? But no, it's just some crazy work behind the net. But the last couple of games has looked more like legit Pettersson on the power play, moving around, still doing his thing defensively, hitting guys, blocking shots, but also creating offensive opportunities. And Kyle, when it comes down to this question about who saves their team first, because the Canucks need some saving right now, right? It's, again, 5-5, but they've been prompted by goaltending. The New York Rangers, kind of similar in a way. They're 3-5-2, but they've had amazing goaltending. Shesterkin has been lights out for that team. Shesterkin and Demko have arguably been the best 2 goalies in the NHL this season so far. I think maybe throw Spencer Knight into that conversation as well. But it's Shesterkin and Demko that's very top. And these teams have been prompted by goaltending. They're still not very good. And I just wonder if either JT Miller or Elias Pettersson can drag their team back into it. And I know JT Miller is that guy. We talked about it in Vancouver time and time again. He is that guy that drags your team into the fight.
Yep.
And with the Rangers, they're going to be better than their record suggests. I know they've had the loss of the Sharks and getting whipped by the Flames, but I wouldn't be taking the Rangers lately coming into tomorrow. Like, looking at the underlying numbers, they're creating chances. They haven't been rewarded. Whereas the Canucks, on the other hand, have not created enough. They've been a little fortunate offensively, and they've had really good goaltending. So they've been able to eke out a couple more wins in New York. But Kyle, don't get me wrong. These are very similar teams right now.
Yeah.
But, and I'm putting my homer hat on. I do believe Elias Pettersson can be the guy that saves the team first because I think he has the higher ceiling. And I think the Canucks have more depth. And I think guys on the Canucks can see a player like Elias Pettersson and drag themselves into the fight as well, right? You got guys like Kiefer Sherwood, obviously. Drew O'Connor had a good game the other night. Brock Besser, Vander Kane finally looked better. Lucas Reichel. I think Ocherod had some stretches as well. Like, there is depth on this team. And the Rangers are a little top heavy. And if the top guys aren't going and producing, they'll be better than they are. I still think they're going to be capped in terms of their actual potential. So,
yeah,
Pettersson with his higher ceiling, with his better all-around game, and the Canucks' better depth at forward, I think he is the more likely guy to save the Canucks as opposed to JT Miller saving the New York Rangers. Again, aging team. I think they can still make the playoffs. I think the Canucks are kind of in a similar boat. I'll put the Canucks slightly ahead of New York in that regard. But two bubble teams, I'm believing in Pettersson and the Canucks a bit more than JT Miller and the New York Rangers, even though the Rangers will be better than they've been.
Yeah. No, I'm there with you, man. Look at this comment. Smirky saying, I think the Canucks are out to prove that center depth doesn't matter. Let's rephrase this. I think Elias Pettersson is out to prove that the center depth situation right now doesn't matter, okay? I think Elias Pettersson, there's some accountability here. He knows what's on the line for the team, not himself, but the team. Like, the team desperately needs him. And there's also no Quinn Hughes right now, too. So, like, it's kind of all on him when it comes to, like, being, like, the all-star skater on this team outside of Connor Garland, who we do have to, like, I'm assuming he's the number one go to the week again. All in all, I think this is what we talked about last week when Filipino got hurt. We're like, yo, the Canucks can fix this situation if they just, like, put all the pressure on Elias Pettersson's shoulder. And there is some poetic justice here, seeing some, I don't want to say some proof to that, because we've only won one of our last 4 games, right? But at least offensively speaking, we're way more dynamic when this guy plays a lot of minutes and is getting the puck a lot. And I know Quinn was playing on Saturday, but Quinn was actually feeding Elias quite a bit on Saturday, which is good. But this is break this down for me, Trevor, because we saw it yesterday with Quinn not being there. Elias just had the puck a lot, even on the power play. And, like, again, we brought this up, like, at points last year too, where it's like, yo, just give him the puck too. Like, this guy needs to feel it out. Like, he needs to feel like he's important, And then, over the last couple of years, Miller and Hughes got the puck the most on the power play. And maybe Pettersson's struggles had something to do with that, where he wasn't as needed, and he needs to feel needed to, like, bring out the best in him. I know it sounds crazy. I know that's like some wide receiver diva stuff that I'm trying to bring up here, but again, poetic justice. I mean, what are the chances that we're going to play the Rangers tomorrow? And most likely Quinn Hughes isn't going to play. Like, it's going to be Elias Pettersson versus arch nemesis JT Miller. And Pettersson's back. And, like, how about this point too? Like, if Miller's around and Pettersson's struggling in his first 6 games of the season, or his first 3 games of the season, there's a chance that Miller just, like, digs Pettersson a grave. Right? And we don't see the resurgence that we've seen over the last 5 or 6 games. All in all, though, do you think Elias Pettersson strives on just being more important? Because that was surprising. Like, to see what he did yesterday, ASAP in the first period, like, really set the tone for the rest of the game. Like, we got this, boys. Don't worry. We don't got Quinn, but it's not a huge problem. We got this. Do you think he's, like, benefits from having more pressure on him?
I do. To a certain extent, I do think there's a fascinating mental psyche that a lot of us, none of us would know as fans or even reporters. But I do think this is a guy that plays well when he's relied upon, right? But I think he has to be feeling it too. Like, it's early in that game, like, making a good play to kind of get into the motion. And, I think when he's feeling it, he can carry it to the next game and the next game and the next game. And it does worry from the point that if he stops feeling it, like, are we going to see another 10 games off, a year off, right? But when he's feeling it, he can be one of the best players in the NHL. Like not top 10, I don't think, but he can certainly be kind of like top 30, top 40, I think. We're just saying something, right? There's only 32 teams in this league. So yeah, I think Pettersson does like being relied upon. He's got an ego, right? He wanted to be paid more than William Nylander for a reason. So yeah, I do think he wants to be relied upon, and he certainly is going to be relied upon again, especially the team's lack of center depth. Okay, Kyle, let's get to the other side, get to a couple more comments, and do my favorite segment, Goats of the Week. That's coming up here on Locked On Canucks. Man, oh man, I wasn't feeling this about a week ago, even a few days ago, but the Vancouver Canucks starting to do things, man. Starting to do things, and they did it on home ice last night. And if you're looking for tickets to go see the Canucks, even the next game against the New York Rangers, you know we got to check out Game Time, because on the Game Time app, tickets can go down as much as 60% before puck drop. All right, they got zone deals too, where you can just pick the zone, have any seat, and get mass savings from that as well. Game Time, again, the lowest price guaranteed too. Lots of reasons to use the Game Time app. I've checked other sites, and it's the only site that I go to for tickets because I know I'm going to get the lowest price guaranteed. And of course, the Whitecaps doing things, man. The BC Lions got a home playoff game this weekend, man. Sports is alive in Vancouver. And Vancouver Canucks might be thrown on the list right now in terms of success, because the Whitecaps and BC Lions, they're doing things, baby. So whatever you want to see, whether it's sports, whether you want to treat your significant other to, you know, a burlesque show, whatever it is, take the guess. We're going to buy your tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Do us all a favor, hit the like button on the video right now, and leave us a 5-star review. You know, if you want, you know, do your thing. If you're feeling generous, you know, Christmas coming up in a couple months. I'm getting married in 5 years, probably having a kid in 7, compound interest. Again, the like goes a long way. Speaking of you and you and you and you, let's get to some comments. Zach asking, what are your thoughts on trade targets and the possibility of Pavel Zacha coming to Vancouver? I also heard Nazem Kadri as well, potentially on the trade block, and Vancouver, you know, not being on the no trade list for both these players, which means, you know, these two players would be okay with coming to Vancouver. Trevor, again, I want to see, this sounds crazy because everyone needs help in their lives and we need to pick up some dubs, but I want to see Elias Pettersson for the next 30 to 40 games carry this team before I'm making any big time trade. I want to see if Elias Pettersson is really that guy. For real. Because we've seen him be that guy with Miller behind him, with Horvat behind him, right? With both of them behind him. I want to see if this team that never makes the playoffs, that trades their picks, that trades their prospects, again, 2 playoff appearances in 11 years, bottom of the standings, middling in the stand. I want to see them have an elite, like 2 elite superstars. So Quinn Hughes is a guarantee. Well, actually 3. Thatcher Demko's an elite superstar. I want to see Elias Pettersson prove, you know, that he can do it on his own. And that's, you know, be consistent, be dominant on both sides of the ice before I'm moving any picks. For real. I know he's had a good weekend, but I want to see it for like 20, 30 games. No rush before we make any moves. Because, of course, it's Operation Impress Quinn Hughes, and we got to win games. We got to make the playoffs. But again, let's not be stupid. Quinn Hughes is smarter than you and you and you and you and me and you, okay? If Elias Pettersson isn't back consistently being a force, Quinn Hughes isn't sticking around. So I might as well just see this through and see Elias Pettersson really do this. Like, even with nobody behind him, right? Like, even if it's Achu Rato as a second-line center, I don't care. You're getting paid the most. You took 22 months off. Carry us, and then we'll help you out.
Yeah, let me roll to a commenter, man, because he's touching on exactly. Yeah, you had it, man. Oliver Sholnick, shout out to a Discord beauty. Kyle wants Pettersson and 3 AHL centers to go 750 winning percentage over the next 30 games. Look, I see where you're coming from, and I feel the same way. I do want to see Pettersson carry this for a while, right? But I think Pettersson, if he keeps playing like this, is going to make management think long and hard about paying significant assets to get a second line center, because this team is sorely lacking that department right now. Like, that is abundantly clear. I also want to see, is Filipino going to come back? I want to see, can Lucas Reichel do this at center ice? It's only been 2 games. Like, I don't want to judge the guy just yet, but I also want to see those things first before Pettersson bounces, or before the Canucks pay assets to get a second line center. Because look, it's the Canucks are firmly in the mushy middle right now, and I think at some point, unless there's some kind of miraculous, internal improvement from the guys like I mentioned, like a Hedl being healthy for an extended stretch and performing well, or Lucas Reichel, busting the odds and being, way more than we think he is. Unless those things happen, along with Pettersson being a dominant number 1 center, the Canucks are going to need help. But I'm not comfortable at this point trading, a 2026 first, or Braden Coots. I think kind of Tom Willander or Jonathan Lecker-Macchio are the guys if you're going to get a second line center. And I'm not sure if that's going to get it done for a guy like Zach or Kadri.
I mean, no, a first-round pick and Willander will get it done. A first-round pick and Lecker-Macchio will get it done. You don't think so?
I think it'll get it done, but I'm just saying right now I'm hesitant to trade the 2026 first. Like, I would not trade that pick if I were the Canucks right now.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
And if it's not that,
you gotta be like
Coots.
Top of the standings, midway point of the season, kind of like you're saying.
Yeah, let's be real. Pavel Zacha and Nazem Kadri are still pretty damn good players. Like it's like sometimes Nazem Kadri's like 88 overall. Sometimes Pavel Zacha's 87 overall, 86, like in his own way. He's a silent killer. Anyways, next comment before we get the goats. This one's coming from Bobby Bluger. Hey, how's Teddy doing? How's Teddy doing, Bobby? Anyways, Bobby Bluger saying in the second intermission on 650, they said Pettersson thrives when all the offense flows through him. And this is what I tried to get at earlier, but my English isn't as good as other people. Why do you think that is for some players? Again, like, they need to just touch the puck more. They need to be in command. They need to be the alpha on the ice to like see this through and just feel themselves and be legitimately at their best. And B, I think all of that makes sense considering this point. I mean, is Quinn Hughes a dominant player if he's not touching the puck the most? Is he feeling himself? Is he, razzling and dazzling? Is he instinctual if the puck's not on his stick? As often as it is? Probably not, Trevor.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but I don't know, man. It is kind of hard to tell. I mean, with Kadri and Zacha, I like both players. They're both off to good starts on not great teams. But what price are you going to pay? Like, and the Canucks.
Are you lagging? Are you lagging here? I didn't even bring up Zacha and Kadri. I was just talking about Hughes and Pettersson.
Yeah, I guess got Kadri and Zacha on the mind, man. My bad.
Yeah. What are you sipping there? Are you sipping some white wine, Trevor?
I am, man. I am 100%. Let's go.
Hey, Trevor,
it's my day off, man.
Okay, Trevor, you're a little drunk. So maybe I'll ask you that thing at the end of the episode, but just run goats of the week. Trevor's drunk right now. Yo, guys.
Oh man, it's a good Monday here, man. It's a good Monday here. Yeah. On Locked On Canucks. Let's get to my favorite segment of the week. Goats of the week. Let's start from the bottom and go up. Let's start with Filip Hronek at number 5, man. Filip Hronek stepping into the number 1 role with when he's out of the lineup. Thought he looked good last night. Obviously showed some toughness coming back. Got 3 assists in 4 games this week as well. And I just think we do underappreciate Filip Hronek at times because he is a damn good defenseman and he plays behind Quinn Hughes. So he's number 5 this week. Number 4, Thatcher Demko. A couple of great performances against Nashville and against Edmonton as well. Probably unfortunate not to get 2 wins on the week because he deserved it in both games. Probably deserves to be higher than number 4. But 3, 2, and 1, they deserve it too, man. Number 3 is Kiefer Sherwood. Man, oh man, is he the best free agent signing in Canucks history? After Alex Burrows, I think he might just be, which is crazy to say because his franchise has existed for a long, long time. And Kyle, you thought Garland was going to be number 1. He's my number 2 this week. Same stat line as Pettersson, 2 goals, 5 points in 4 games. But number 1, I have Elias Pettersson. I thought he was the best player on the ice in the Nashville game against, no one was really great in the Nashville game. I thought he was the best player on the ice. I think he was probably the best forward on the ice in the Montreal game as well. And then probably second best on the ice in the game, aside from Sherwood against the Edmonton Oilers. Elias Pettersson, for the first time this year, the number 1 go to the week, baby.
This guy's sipping on a 40, man. Trevor Beggs drunk. I'm still appalled at how you just ignored my crazy scientific Bob McKenzie, Pierre McGuire like thesis, just because you were drunk. And anyways, Trevor, man. You know what, Trevor? I think you're drunk too, man, by not giving Connor Garland all the praise and not making him the goat of the week. Because I feel like, even though, again, we all need help in life, and I'm trying to help you out too, like, go get some help, Trevor. Connor Garland really, really, really kind of rescued Elias Pettersson, because Connor Garland's been feeling it from day one. And let's be honest, man, like, obviously he's so talented and he's so tenacious that, like, he eventually was going to make it work in the top 6, let alone the top line. Like, he was going to do his thing. His work rate is so high that, like, eventually he find his way, but that's still a daunting task. A, you got to get Elias Pettersson going, and B, you got to play way more minutes. And he did it. Like, Connor Garland is 11 points in 10 games on a team that struggles to produce offense, quote unquote. I mean, I'll say it. I'm surprised. Like, I don't know. You know, we talked about it before the season started, though. We did an episode like, yo, if he's healthy, A, Bill Guerin's going to have to pick Connor Garland, and B, Connor Garland can get up to 80 points. He can, and right now
I
he's
think
showing
80
it.
is a little bit optimistic, but I think if he hit 70, that would be a hell of an accomplishment for Connor
Yeah.
Garland. And look, he's been an all situations monster for the Canucks. PP1, the top 4 that's playing on the penalty kill right now, and of course on the number 1 line with Elias Pettersson. I mean, I think you're grasping at straws a bit in terms of who's better between Pettersson and Garland, especially in the last week. I think Garland's been better overall in the season, and that's showcased in the go to the year rankings. If you want to look at the first 3 weeks of the season, I have right now Demko first, Garland second, Pettersson now third, Sherwood fourth. So, I mean, look, Garland's been the best skater on this team in my eyes. But Pettersson was great this week too, man, and don't take that away from him either.
Yeah. And Connor, I know, like, the math is different on your go to the weeks, and Pettersson got number 1, so he gets all the points. But it's Connor Garland, Thatcher Demko, Kiefer Sherwood as your best Canuck so far this season and most consistent Canucks. Okay, anyways, last point. Again, I want to go back to what I was saying to Trevor before he was hammered and ignoring. Again, now you're seeing the dynamic between our friendship. Trevor ignores me a lot.
True.
Okay, so again, Teddy Bluger, Bobby Bluger, he said in the comments, the intermission on 650 said that Pettersson thrives when the offense flows through him, aka he's touching the puck more. He's the man. And, you know, I brought it up how in previous years it's Miller and Hughes doing a lot of the work on the power play too, and that's when offensive players feel themselves, right? When you're dictating play or the quarterback, you know, you're the man. And Pettersson's like the third option, the fourth option there. That could lead to, like, just, again, him feeling himself less. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I'm just scientifically breaking down how momentum could be built, okay? And there is some proof to that, because I'm closing my eyes and I'm like, yo, what if Quinn Hughes touched the puck over the last couple of years less so, or, you know, on par with how much Elias Pettersson was touching the puck over the last couple of years? Like, he wouldn't be feeling himself as much, right? He wouldn't. Like, if he was the third or fourth option, he wouldn't. So I think, like, moving forward, I think Quinn, now watching this from the top, I like when Quinn Hughes takes shots, and even when they get blocked, I want him to be aggressive, because we've seen it work and he's dynamic. But do feed Elias Pettersson more. Like, work with him, because you give him the puck more and he starts to feel important, and he's just, again, instinctually is a bit better hockey player within the game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to an extent. Like, you got to get Pettersson the puck, but I don't think Hughes was not getting Pettersson the puck. I know there's been this narrative out there that
I don't think so too. I don't think so too.
You know, they had these conversations, and Hughes is like trying to do it all on his own. He's not giving it to Pettersson. I think on a lot of times Hughes has been trying to do it on his own, but I do think he's been feeding the Pettersson the puck properly. Like, when I'm watching these games, like, they are going back and forth, and Pettersson does a good job of finding Hughes as well. Like, I do think they read off of each other. But I think we're going to notice it more if Pettersson's truly back as well. Like, if the speed's back, if the confidence is back, if the playmaking's back, if the shot is back, if these things are back, you know, Hughes could feed Pettersson the puck the same amount as what he was doing before. But you're going to notice it a lot more because Pettersson's actually making plays when he gets the puck.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, look at elite, look at our power play without Quinn Hughes. Just people. Twitter's the stupidest place in the world. Trust me. I'm not one of those people who are like Elias is better without Quinn. I'm not saying that. I'm just I don't know, like, okay, like let's say he was using him enough. I think Quinn needs to use Elias more. Just not taking a shot, but like, yo, now work off each other, because early on the season, and it's probably because Quinn Hughes was hurt, he wasn't as dynamic based on like him being again hurt or just being checked harder. Now Elias can open up lanes for him. So anyways, all in all, go Canucks go. Elias Pettersson's better than JT Miller, and the Canucks are 5-5-0, and we sounded hella confident today, Trevor.
Yeah, Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes are best friends. Kyle and I are just coworkers, and that's the way it goes. Another episode of Locked On Canucks in the books, and never a dull moment, man. Never a dull moment covering this team. Never a dull moment knowing where the conversation is going to go between you, myself, and the listeners, Kyle. One love to you and you for listening. If you like what we're doing, go share the episode with a friend, a coworker, your mom. On the YouTube side, you can like and subscribe. On the podcast side, you can follow us and leave a 5-star review. Join the Discord as well. Talk hockey with the best Canuck fans in the world while you're on the toilet, while you're naked in bed, whatever you want to do, man. That's how it is. Join the Discord link in the bio. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.